time. Brenda Alloco, historical decisions and their impact beyond their time.
Have you ever made a decision and thought that that decision will only impact you or your family? Even with your jobs, depending on what career route you had, maybe you felt the decision you made had little impact on future. And by future, I mean hundreds, thousands of years from now. What decisions are you making that may impact those generations? I want to show you, if you can see it. There we go. It's a quarter. Back in 1796, the Treasury decided that all of our coins were going to be made of the silver minerals, based on its value. So a $10 coin was worth $10 in silver. We had a $5 and a $2.50 one. And then we had the quarter. If you look at our coins now, they each have a different size. Back in 1796, they didn't. They were all the same size. The biggest challenge back then was the fact that they were made from real silver. Not like today where they're infused with copper and other minerals. So the value of your quarter, well, hopefully it's still worth it 25 cents. What happened in the early 18th century, in order to help alleviate criminals who decided that they could make more money from our coins by shaving it and then reselling it. If you look at a quarter, there are grooves around it. 119 to be exact. No, I didn't count it. I'm taking somebody's word for it. That was done over 246 years ago, and yet we still do it, even though our coin has different shapes. Now it's being done because those who are visually impaired are able to determine by rolling their fingers on the edge what coin they have. Fellow Toastmasters, friends, and guests, it's decisions like that that made me ponder why. How many of you out there in Zoom land are fans of the space shuttle? You love everything there is about the space. Every time there's a launch, you head outside to see if you can watch the shuttle go off. When the shuttle was created, it required 2 rocket boosters on either side of it so that it could release itself from the Earth's atmosphere. Now the challenge with that is each of those solid rocket boosters was 4 feet, 3.5 inches in diameter. Now why that might seem a little, not much of a challenge, because after all, we could take the shuttle, attach it to a plane, and fly it to wherever we need it to launch it from. Unfortunately, the rocket boosters did not have that luxury. We had to take them by ground. The rocket boosters are made in California. Between California, Texas, and Florida, in case you weren't aware of it, there are mountains. And in order to get through the mountains, you had to dig a hole. Well, the holes to go through the mountains were already dug because train travel. The train travel and the tracks, the width of the tracks were 4 feet, 3.5 inches. And you might think, okay, so that makes sense. But why did we make the tracks only 4 feet, 3.5 inches? Well, we have to go back a little bit further in our history. When we brought over the expatriates from England to help us build our railroad tracks, the engineers brought with them the materials that they used to build the railroad tracks back in jolly old England. You may think, well, gosh darn, why don't we just change what we had, change the tools? Well, the reason why they were done that way is because back when we had the wagon wheels, the ruts were already made from the wagon wheels. So why did we want to endanger the wagon wheels? Have you ever had a flat tire? Have you changed a flat tire? Think about changing a broken wagon wheel. But we're going to go back a little bit further, because why didn't they just repave the roads? Well, as I said, because of the ruts that were already made. And if we go back a little bit further, in case you weren't aware of it historically, but the Romans invaded England. Now, back in the day when the Romans invaded England, they used a very sophisticated propeller system. They used the chariots. And what were the chariots propelled by? They were propelled by not one, but 2 horses. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, the solid rocket boosters, which propel our space shuttle outside the Earth's atmosphere, was based on the back end of 2 horses. Kind of makes you wonder how we make the decisions and how far into the future those decisions actually affect us. Am I telling the truth? Thank you, fellow Toastmasters.